happening in the polity, especially with regard to security and politics. Joining us to look at some of these issues this morning is the spokesperson for the APC, Lai Mohammed. Good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Well, we have actually started looking at this, but let's start with the main issue, the pressing issue, which has to do with security. Time and again, you have issued statements on behalf of your political party. Well, you sometimes lambasting, some other time trying to bring up issues to the fore against the backdrop of what. And the question most Nigerians have been asking is, do you have an alternative to some of these issues that you have raised with the ruling PDP?
Oh yes, we do. And on many fora, we made clear what the alternative, what they are. For instance, the first thing, if we were President Jonathan, or if we were in government today, the first thing we are going to do is to restore confidence and morale to the Nigerian army in a manner that they will be able to face the insurgency on equal terms.
Do you think that is lacking?
It is lacking, clearly. They are not as equipped, neither are they as inspired, neither is their morale as high.
How do you know that?
Oh, if it is not true, if our army has the necessary capacity in terms of equipment, in terms of welfare, they will not be running away from the insurgents. This, don't forget, this is the same military that performed very credibly well in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, and in other foreign missions. So clearly, as of today, they lack the confidence, they lack the morale, they lack the equipment. So the first thing we will do is to restore that confidence and that morale and that pride in our army. After which we will, and we've always said, we must open talks, genuine talks this time around, with the Boko Haram.
Let us deal, first of all, because before we come to that conversation with Boko Haram as to whether or not you would negotiate, with the terrorist group, a lot of people will say that we do know that the decay we see in terms of equipment or lack of equipment in the Nigerian military has been over the years. They say the last time they bought equipment was in 1979. I don't know how far that's true. Some people say it was in Shagari's tenure. It depends on which one you decide to take. But it's been a gradual decline, it would seem, for the military. And some of the equipment, or the equipment that are needed, they say you don't get off the shelf. It was only recently that the Senate did approve a $1 billion loan for the executive to get equipment and whatever it is that the military needs to be able to, come back to what it used to be. Are you saying that you would have waved a magic wand? Because these things, all of them are a process, and it definitely does take time for these things to finally come to fruition.
Okay, you must understand that as the president and commander-in-chief, the buck stops on your table. Governance is a continuum. You inherit both the assets and liabilities of what you have come to take over. This government has spent $32 billion in the last 5 years on security. They should tell Nigerians precisely how that $32 billion was spent. Doing what? Which arm of the military took that money? What equipment did we buy with it? On the contrary, after $32 billion, we have lost about 220,000 square kilometers of territory to Boko Haram.
Are you including the one that was captured yesterday? Or supported captured yesterday?
I'm talking as of Tuesday this week, that we have lost over 221,000 square kilometers and scores of thousands of lives to Boko Haram. You see, I don't think it's a defense for any president who has been in power for 4 or 5 years to say, when I came here, when I came into office, the military was already in tatters, and not given the amount of money that has been allocated to security in the last 5 years.
But is it not fair? I mean, is it not only fair that that be taken into cognizance when it is the, what criticizing, so to speak? What
do we take into cognizance? That the army had been...
That situation was inherited.
And that's what I just told you. That you inherit both the good and the bad. And as the president and commander-in-chief, it's our responsibility to ensure that we secure our own property. It's not an excuse that when I became president, the army was in tatters. And I'm saying that you have been there for 58 months now.
Now, the second part of your argument, your submission, was that you would negotiate. You would open genuine negotiations with Boko Haram.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that the federal government has said that over and over again. They're willing to dialogue with anybody who has links. In fact, they set up a committee, a special committee to that effect, headed by the Minister of Special Affairs. Only recently, as a special duties, beg your pardon. Only recently, though, we did hear that talks had been taking place, brokered by the president of Chad. It would seem then, some people did say that they were dealing with fake or phantom Boko Haram, as it were. Do you know the members, the genuine members of Boko Haram, that we can now say you will hold genuine talks with them?
No, because that's not the issue. The issue is that, you see, the government's response to Boko Haram is characterized with inaction, denial, lies, and failures. You see,
they're strong,
very strong words, and I mean them. Look, why denial? For a long time. Even when the Chibok girls were kidnapped, it took a whole 18 days for the president to believe they were actually kidnapped. Why do I say failure and lies? We have been told several times that the federal government had entered into a truce with Boko Haram, only for us to know that they have been lying. On 17th of October, we all woke up one morning, and the federal government, through the Chief of Defense Staff, said they've just, signed a ceasefire truce with Boko Haram. And believe me, every Nigerian was elated. We were all happy that finally, if the Chief of Defense Staff can say we have reached a truce, it must be true. Only for us, 3 weeks later, for the Boko Haram to come and say they don't even know the guy they were talking to. And up to now, the government has not come out to apologize to Nigerians.
Well, Lai Mohammed, doesn't that bring to mind the question Mark asked earlier? Who do you know the true representatives or members of Boko Haram? And who should the federal government talk to?
It's turning incompetence on the part of any government to say they do not know who to talk to. Now, when they set up the first team under the Minister of Special Duties, who are they talking to? When they announced that they had reached a truce, who are they talking to? Now, I believe that a competent government would know who to talk to. We have all witnessed terrorism and terrorism and insurgencies in other parts of the world. And these people are not ghosts.